So, on the topic of China, let's look at one of Trump's latest announcements. This is what he announced on social media. Based on the lack of respect that China has shown to the world's markets, I'm hereby raising the tariff charged to China by the U.S. to 125% effective immediately. At the same time, Trump also announced that he's authorized a 90-day pause and a substantially lowered reciprocal tariff during this period of 10%, also effective immediately. So he's increasing the tariffs charged to China, but he's now announcing a 90-day pause, it looks like, for everybody else. Help us make sense of what he's doing here.
I'm mystified. In my wildest imagination, since I've just explained about uncertainty, I'm blown away by he cut it for everybody for 90 days. It's just incredible what he's doing. Beyond anything I can give you a rational answer for, because this is no longer a rational behavior pattern.
So incredible and incredibly stupid, incredibly
self-defeating.
Okay.
It's not even it undercuts any calculation. Even Jamie Dimon said, it's uncertain. If you heard him at the end, it's uncertain. He knows that the uncertainty is an issue. This is just revving up uncertainty by cutting it down, making it not effective for 90 days. Everybody has to wonder what happens at the end of 90 days. Another 30 days? Another 12 days? This is beyond words. But anyway, put it aside. China, here's the thing. You figured out late, and that's a whole conversation why that happened, but late the United States figured out that China is the new world economic power. There's no other way to say that. I'll give you one statistic, just because you can hold it in your mind this way. In economics, we measure the size of an economy by something called the GDP, the gross domestic product. It's simply a measure of the total output of goods and services in one calendar year. So this country has X, that country has 2X. That country is twice as big a footprint in the world economy as the first one. Okay? The United States and its major allies, that's called the G7. The United States, Canada, Japan, Britain, France, Germany, and Italy. Those 7 countries together right now account for about 28%, more or less, of global output. So these 7 countries are 28% of the total product of this planet. Now we look at China and its allies. That is thing called the BRICS, which now is about 22 countries, but the core group, the first 5 that formed it, were Russia, China, India, Brazil, and South Africa. But you take them together, you add up their GDPs, and they are 35% of the world's output. And if that statistic doesn't blow you away, here's one. The United States has 4.5% of the world's people. The BRICS alliance around China, 60% of the world's people. 60%, 4.5%, stop it. There is no question of where the world is going. In fact, there really is no question of where the world has already arrived. The United States, which could not believe over the last 25 years how fast China was growing, and I've been, since I was alive and active as an economist all that time, I can't tell you the number of seminars and panels and conferences where I've either given a paper or been on a panel or commented on it, where I had to deal with my fellow economists who were telling me, you can't trust the Chinese statistics, they make it up, year after year, as the signs kept showing that they weren't making it up. Now they finally figured out. Under Obama, it started. It's too late. They want to slow China down. Everything they do, going after the Huawei Corporation a few years ago, I'm sure you noticed that, putting the tariffs on under Trump #1, and then, give you an example, the best the best electric vehicles in the world right now. Every engineer knows it. The best electric vehicles, and the cheapest, are made in China. They're made in China by a company there called BYD, 3 initials, BYD Corporation. By the way, stands for Build Your Dream. It's English, even though it's a Chinese company. They produce by far the best electric cars and trucks. If you go to Europe right now, you'll see them all over the road. You'll never see one in the United States. Why not? Because Mr. Biden raised Mr. Trump's tariff, which was 25% against those things, to 100%. So if you buy a $30,000 BYD electric car, you pay $30,000 goes to China for the car, and another $30,000, 100%, goes to Uncle Sam, costing you $60,000. So no one's going to do that. Everyone here can buy for $45,000 an inferior electric car made by Tesla or GM or Ford or any of the other, Toyota and the others. That's how this whole crazy quilt has been stop them, slow them, damage them. It's been going on now at least 10 years, by some counts 15 or 20. It hasn't worked. China continues to grow faster. Here are the numbers for 2024, the last full year. The United States grew, if you believe all these numbers are from the International Monetary Fund, a Western institution. U.S. growth 2.8%, China's growth 5%, India's growth 7%. There's no contest here. It's been like that for 30 years, and there's no reason to believe otherwise. Can you damage the Chinese economy with these actions? Yes, you can. Will it cost them? Yes, it will. Is it going to change this basic picture? Not a chance. But it's very theatrical, and he will do it, and he hopes it'll work. And he hopes to tell them, like the 2 guys offering protection, I will take it away if you pay me. I will protect you. You got to pay. You got to give me something. And it better be dramatic so I can go across America and say, look what I got by threatening the whole world. Look, the world is, I can tell you from European newspapers, the United States is now the world's rogue country. That is the way they are conceptualizing it. They won't change their behavior. The Europeans will screw each other as they each of them fall over the other one, trying to make a deal with Mr. Trump. Not understanding the old rule: if you don't hang together, you're going to hang separately. They don't, and that's the end for Europe. That's why Europe is disintegrating between the 2 poles of the U.S. and the G7 on the one hand, and China and the BRICS on the other. They can't overcome those differences. That's why Europe, from being the center of the world for thousands of years, is now becoming marginal. Before long, we're going to refer to Britain as a cold, wet island off the continent of Europe. That's come down a long way. And here's the irony of ironies. That's exactly what's happening to us. We're bigger, but it's not helping us. We are in really tough shape. And if I could urge anything on you, both of you, I know you do a lot of work and you're on a variety of programs. I see you all the time. This stuff needs what we're doing. It needs to be talked about. It needs to be explored. It needs to be questioned. Otherwise, the American people are just being led down the proverbial path here. And it's as horrible as the way people treat the Gaza issue or any of the, you're wading through the nonsense to try to get some kernel of understanding of what's going on.